What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Plus Added Time here on Project Dits. As always, my name is Nathan, and the merriest man in all of human history is, of course, my co-host, Mr. Darragh Gibbons. Hi, Darragh.
Hello, I think you've got the nickname wrong, if I'm being honest.
I'll say, aren't you the Oracle?
The Oracle, I'll take that. That sounds much better.
How was your Christmas?
Pretty good, yeah. Pretty good. Family around, just loving it.
Did you just drink loads of Guinness? I can imagine that's all you guys do.
If, we're Irish, so what we do is, yeah.
Well, Dara, let's get straight into it because I know you're going to have some things ready. You had a lot of time over the Christmas period just to ponder.
I got let go from work, lockdown's come back, so I've had a bit of free times on my hands. I guess I'll start off with last week's trivia question. I know there's people just scratching their heads, except for you, Nathan. I'm pretty sure you got it almost instantly, didn't you?
I can't remember what it is, to be honest. It's been a while. At time of recording, I think it's been about 2 weeks since you've read it out. So please, I don't remember what it is.
I'll re-jog your memory.
Oh, no, I remember.
Yeah, brilliant. The only player in the Premier League era to appear in the Manchester Derby, the Merseyside Derby, the North London Derby, the Tyne Wear Derby, the Wear Tyne Derby, and the West London Derby. And the answer is, Nathan?
Louis Saha.
Louis Saha, yes. I never knew he played for Newcastle.
No, I feel like we discussed this off mic because remarkably I did know the answer fairly quickly. But he was only on loan there. Was it in the late 90s? Very late 90s. I feel like 98, 99 season or something like that.
I think it was. No recollection. I can't even imagine him in a Newcastle jersey. It's a very weird one. But obviously, maybe not the hardest of trivia questions when you think about it.
No, I think the big clue, obviously, everyone knows he played for Fulham, he played for United, and he played for Everton. I feel like those are, without being disrespectful to his other spells at the other clubs, those are kind of the three you would probably associate with Louis Saha.
Yeah, especially I always think of Man United and Fulham straight away, isn't it? Was he good for you? Was he?
I seem to remember him being fairly useful, yeah, and I think he became a bit of like a cult hero, from my recollection. And no disrespect to Saha, I don't remember his spell at United tremendously well.
Ooh.
I don't think I could pick out a Louis Saha moment.
It's a good point. Neither can I.
If you can't, then he might as well have not been there. But
well, I didn't say that. That's you. That's all you.
I feel like he was mostly a bench player.
Yeah.
Because Ruud van Nistelrooy was still there.
Yes.
So he obviously wasn't starting at striker because Wayne Rooney was obviously still there. You would have had Giggs still there, Ronaldo, then going into Nani, and I don't even know if Saha was still there when we signed Nani.
It was a good team. That's it, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I'll take him now.
Over Odion Gallo, yeah.
Oh, Odion Gallo. He's going to be gone at the end of January. I'm going to miss him.
Oh.
That goal against Lask, with the big chest down volley.
Oh, my favourite team. I think they're my second team, actually. Did you know that? No idea. Anyways, again, loads of free times in my hand. I thought I'd introduce a new segment because, fun, isn't it? Christmas spirit. It's completely unique. I'm sure you've never heard anything like it before. It's called Sock Busters. Very original, as you can imagine. Basically, what's going to happen, Nathan and the listeners, I'm going to give you 3 cryptic clues, and I'm going to give you the initials, and the answer for all 3 is going to be a player. And this week, Nathan, you'll be glad to hear, Liverpool edition. Ooh.
Oh, goody gumdrops.
So I'm thinking I'll read them out now, and I think I'll just give you the answers at the end of the show. We don't want to be, a really long intro, like always when I do my trivia questions. So we'll go with the first one. So the cryptic clue is, that Beale fella off EastEnders sure is fast. Initials I or. Have you got it?
Sorry, what? Say that again.
I'll give you the clue again. So it's a player who has at some point or another played for Liverpool.
Okay.
The cryptic clue is that Beale fella off of EastEnders sure is fast. Initials I or.
I or.
I or. Yes.
I O.
I or.
Oh, okay.
If you're not getting that one, I don't reckon you'll get the other two. The second one is nick the end of that woman's foot. I'm not a fan of that. Initials or F.
So weird.
I'll be impressed if you get that one. Remember, cryptic. So, you know what cryptic means.
Yeah, I know.
And the third one, that Cole fella who was an attacking midfielder for Chelsea in the mid to late 2000s. This Sunday, he must be at church. Initials JG. If you're still listening, this is Plus at a Time with Darragh and Nathan. So I will give them out at the end of the show. I'm sure you're all anticipating it already.
I'm sure everyone absolutely loves that. So, Darragh, I'm always glad you've got so much time on your hands.
What a show we've got prepared.
We are recording this on New Year's Eve because neither of us are friends, and but a lot of football has happened since last time. So let's do some football talk. Let's do it. Sheffield United are taking the crown as the fodder for this season. It's a bit unfortunate. It's before we get to the obvious Liverpool and United talk, but I think you just want to talk about Sheffield United, who were unlucky against us not long ago. That's Man United.
Yeah.
And I thought they played really well and they were going to push on and start to get some points on the board. It's just not happening. And I feel like you can kind of give some more insight into someone who they paid a lot of money from Liverpool. Lit up the championship a little bit last season at Swansea. That's obviously Ryan Brewster.
Ryan Brewster, yeah. At the time, I thought, Sheffield United had a very good season last season. And, they're adding a £20 million striker, which now seems ridiculous, in Ryan Brewster, who, I think he's a good player. He had a very good preseason for us, actually, before we sold him. I know no team apparently had a preseason, but we did, which was weird, especially with Klopp complaining all the time. But they're not doing very well, Nathan, are they? They actually, with the last game, they tied the record for the longest winless run at the start of a Premier League season.
Yeah, it's kind of just running out of things to say a little bit, because they're not a million miles away from safety. It's not like they're kind of on the brink of when you use the football cliche to bring football cliches back of cut adrift at the bottom.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah, it's a strong one, but they're still kind of halfway in touching distance. If they could get a half decent run to go, because there's not a lot of points on the board in terms of, I don't know, I feel like we'd have to compare it to seasons where there hasn't been as much disruption, but it feels like no one has as many points as you thought they would.
Yeah, I think that's true throughout the table from first down to last. I still think they're a good team, and based on that performance against United and obviously against Liverpool, they were, I think their goal was a bit fortunate, but they were unlucky not to hold on in the end. I thought they were pretty good defensively. And against United, I seem to remember they pushed G for quite a while as well.
Yeah, they played really well. And I think it was McGoldrick who got 2 for them.
Irish legend.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, we got pushed, and our quality shone through a little bit towards the end of the match when they started to get a little bit tired. But there was a time there where you just thought it was going to be like last season's game against Sheffield United, where they very quickly went 2 up, and then all of a sudden, like, we came back into it. I think we scored 3 in about 8 minutes in that game or something like that, and then they got a last minute equaliser.
Yes.
Mason Greenwood seems to ring a bell. I think he got 1 or 2 of them, but
but again, we say I don't think they're like. I mean, they're currently on track to have the worst season in Premier League history by quite some distance. Um, but if you actually look at the stats, I heard last night they've lost something like 12 of their games by only one goal. So they're not just getting like, whipped every week, but they're not doing very good, are they? They need to score more goals, essentially. That's what they need.
They really, really do. That's where they're struggling. And when we look at it like this, they've conceded 27 goals at the minute, which isn't a massive amount. Like it's less than Leeds, who are up in 11th. It's less than Crystal Palace. Yeah, you've conceded 20. We've conceded 23. So they've only conceded 4 more goals than United, who are in second at the minute. But they've only scored 8.
Yeah. And when you're signing strikers for 20 million, I mean, then again, Newcastle signed Joe Linton, who, I still refuse to believe that Mike Ashley paid 40 million for him. Do you know what I mean? It seems like something he'd do.
An 8 in 16 in a minute. So they're scoring a goal every other game. And that's just not good enough. That's absolutely not good enough. Like Burnley, to their credit, you go up to 16th place with Burnley, who today, at time of recording, their takeover by the American ALK Investors Group went through.
Oh.
So they've got a new owner. Sean Dyche had somehow already not got that side in the relegation zone. How when they've only scored 9 goals.
Yeah.
But they've only conceded 20.
Which is the same as top the table. Repeat it with me, Nathan. Liverpool.
For now.
Still up there.
For now. It's not, and I think Brewster, he is a good player, but it does have the stench of when you sold Dominic Solanke to Bournemouth for like 25 million or something.
Do you know what I love? We sold, was it Solanke and Ibe covered the cost for Mohamed Salah?
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Just think about that.
When you look at it like that, it's crazy. Somehow, sometimes you just know how to work the market.
And Michael Edwards certainly knows how to work that laptop. You were saying, Nathan, moving on.
Yeah, moving on from Sheffield United. I mean, there's only a couple of people sides before we get to Liverpool and United talk that I really wanted to touch on. And I'm going to do the next 2 back-to-back since they're next to each other in the table. Starting off with Arsenal. They've won their last 2 games. They beat Chelsea, who we will get to because my goodness, they are a mess. And they beat Brighton, scraped past Brighton, but it was still a better performance. Now they got Martinelli and Saka back on the wings. Aubameyang's still not scoring, but is there a little bit to be kind of positive about for the Gunners suddenly?
Yeah, well, if you look at the table, I think they're only like 6 points off of like the top 6, 7, something like that, which is mental. Again, when you think about when we last recorded, Nathan, like people were tipping Arsenal for relegation. It was very weird. It was a very weird time to be alive.
It is such a weird season because it's funny to say that they're only 6 points behind Manchester City. But then Manchester City have played 2 less games. They're 9 points off the top 4, but Everton in 4th have played a game less.
But like, you know what I mean? That's still not like unamountable. Do you know what I mean? That's like
that's how weird this season's been. Everyone's been beating everyone.
Perfect.
It's all over the place, but things are suddenly looking good. Aubameyang does seem to be slightly the problem child. At the minute, in my eyes, I think El Nene and Xhaka, there's nothing you can do about those two. They are just going to be terrible forever. But
yeah, I mean, Aubameyang was just out to sign Deteng, as it was being, labelled, and he signed Deteng, and has he scored from open play?
The Southampton goal was his first from open play.
Right.
But we're going back, to the start of December for that, and he's not scored since. But Lacazette has come up with a couple of goals.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? They're kind of. I mean, I know they're not old, are they? But they're aging, aren't they? And you need to cash in on one of them. That's the way I look at it.
I think they're going to have to. I don't think they're going to get the money they would want through Aubameyang now because of his age. Nothing against his quality, but Lacazette, I don't think they're going to get a whole lot for Lacazette either, just because he doesn't score enough. But
yeah,
I mean, there's positive signs there. If we look at what matches they've got coming up next, they're away at West Brom, which you know all about.
Away at West Brom is very different to at
Yeah.
home. Can I can I remind you?
And then they got two winnable home games against Crystal Palace and Newcastle. So all of a sudden, we could be seeing Arsenal maybe back up on the right end of the table for where they should be.
Yeah, I just honestly I've run out of just predictions at this point because it's a cliche, I know, but it's just a mental season, isn't it? Where anyone can beat anyone.
It's slightly baffling, and I'm going to move on from Arsenal. We're going to skip over Wolves, who was going to bring up, but I think I'll bring that up when we talk United in a bit. So let's talk Chelsea.
Ooh. Initial thoughts?
That's a very expensive pile of crap.
It's not good, is it? They've been very bad form lately, haven't they? They finally looked like they had the keeper situation sorted with Mendy. Didn't he go something like 300 games without conceding a goal or something? And they've just been losing it every week, it seems.
They have. I'm going to run you through their latest league results. I'm not going to include the draw in the Europa League with Krasnodar, 'cause I think Chelsea played their under sevens in that match. They lost to Everton. They lost to Wolves, conceding in about the 95th minute or something. They beat West Ham, lost to Arsenal, drew with Aston Villa. Credit to Chelsea, Villa only conceded one goal in December, and it was that one against Chelsea.
Wow.
So, yeah, they don't get extra points for that, but there we are. One win in 5 for Frank, and that side cost. I know a lot of it was offset with the Eden Hazard money. But if we just look, I don't want to go AFTV on you by talking about net spend, but we're going to go gross. Was it 200 and something million quid spent in the summer?
It's mental, isn't it? And you see people trying to like justify it with, oh yeah, but that was the money for 2 transfer windows. No, it wasn't, because you spent something like, was it 40 million on Kovacic during a transfer ban?
Yeah, there was a loophole there because they had him on loan, so they signed him before his loan ended or something like that. But they signed Pulisic in the January before their transfer ban. So I know that I'd actually want to twist that argument around where people saying, "Oh, that was the money for 2 transfer windows," blah 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 blah. Well, why have you upset a side that was very young last season, but also very good?
Yeah, Tammy Abraham and Mason Mount looked like, I don't want to say the next Lampard and Drogba, but they looked like 2 very good footballers.
Yeah, and Mason Mount has kind of kept his place inside by being one of the best players there. But we were talking via chat during kind of a Chelsea match the other day. I can't remember which one. Just about some of the substitutions.
Right.
They're so strange in the sense that the match before the last one, so I just read out the Arsenal game, and they were 2-0 down. Nothing was going right for them. And Olivier Giroud just sat on the bench the entire time. He didn't bring on a striker.
Yeah,
I know Werner is a striker, blah, 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 but he's played as a winger.
Yeah, and Giroud's probably been the most informed striker they've had lately, especially, hasn't he?
Without a doubt. And he showed it in the Villa game where he was the one that got Chelsea's goal. And then he gets bought off.
Yeah, and even, conceding 3 to Arsenal, I think that's the first time since early October they've scored more than 1 in a game.
It was something like that, and it seemed to spark something in Arsenal, and Chelsea have just dropped and dropped and dropped. And yeah, Giroud scored in the 34th minute. Then Villa equalised, and 20 minutes left, Giroud came off for Timo Werner, and Havertz came on.
Ooh.
And Werner and Havertz are just having an absolute nightmare.
Do you remember about, probably around the time we started this, probably 3 months ago, Frank Lampard was being talked up as, playing this amazing football, the next big thing, whatever. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was, what's he doing, what's he playing at, all out. Completely switched, turned it on its head.
It has, and part of that's to do with, I think, although Ollie has made perhaps some managerial mistakes, and the team went through a kind of a rough patch, particularly in the Champions League, there's still been a level of consistency there that Chelsea didn't have last season and have never really had this season.
Yeah, I mean, well, we won't get onto United yet, but yeah, Chelsea. I don't know. Frank needs to sort it out, doesn't he? Do you reckon if he doesn't finish in the top four, that's like the bare minimum that they would have expected out of him to start the season, I think. And I think he has to go if he fails to finish inside the top four.
He would have to because he did it last season, although somehow he ended up coming fourth when he looked like he was going to be coming third.
Well, Leicester just didn't want it. Brendan Rodgers was not did not
want it.
No.
And they have to finish in the top four. I think that's minimum. I think if he
There.
also, I think points total is irrelevant this season because of how incredibly strange it is.
Yeah.
He's just got to finish there. But has he also got to win a trophy? Because he made a final last season as well and lost it to Arsenal again. Talk about the FA Cup there.
Yeah.
But
Well,
he got spanked in the Champions League by a very, very good Bayern Munich side. I would say that despite all the transfers Chelsea have made, Bayern would probably do equal, if not worse, to them now.
yeah. I mean, when he first came in, he was taking over Chelsea without Eden Hazard and going through this supposed transfer ban. So I think to get fourth in his first season was very good. But now, it's his own team. He's made a lot of major signings, and they're just not. They just don't seem to be working at the minute. And if Maurizio Sarri was sacked for finishing third and winning the Europa League, what does that say?
I think Frank will get at least a season just because of who he is at the club. I don't think Abramovich. I think Abramovich has put himself in a bit of a corner there with his reputation of just sacking people when it seems to not be working. And he can't do that with Frank because I think the fans would be upset even though they're not playing well.
I know, but after, this is Roman Abramovich who sacked a Champions League winning manager after like 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, and without even really giving him any money in the summer either.
No, so
I mean, it can happen, and I think if it looks like Chelsea are gonna, I think if it looks like Chelsea are slipping away from top four and they get dicked in the Champions League, I can't remember who they're playing at the minute. It's escaped my Atletico Madrid, which I mean, Atletico Madrid, who have still, and I'm pretty sure we said this last podcast, only conceded 5 goals in the Liga. They've still only conceded 5 goals.
And aren't they like top with 2 games in hand? Something ridiculous like that as well.
I think they're 10 points above Barcelona. Barcelona, who are in 6th at the minute. And they've played 2 less games than Barcelona.
That is mental. See, they let Diego Costa go.
Yeah, on a free, but Suarez is just banging him in for them in a minute. So
I know. Yeah.
Atletico Madrid, I've just managed to get it up. They are 10 points above Barcelona. Barcelona in 6th. They do have a game in hand on Barcelona. They got 2 games in hand on Real Madrid, and they're 2 points clear of Real Madrid. And they got three games on Real Sociedad, who are in 3rd. Real Sociedad, who are playing as we are recording this and winning 1-0. So yeah, 27 goals scored, 5 conceded.
Not bad, is it? Like, they're a good team. What can I say? Knocked us out of Europe last season.
Yeah, so there you go. But Chelsea, he needs to find a balance, and I think unfortunately at the minute that balance is Werner and Havertz don't deserve their spot.
Yeah.
I think Alan Shearer wrote a really good piece on Werner the other day about the chances he's missing and how he's getting into good positions, but it's either a technique or a confidence thing because he's just screwing them all up at the minute, and he just doesn't look like he was worth. How much was it?
Was it
60 million?
50, 60 million? Yeah, I can't remember that off the top of my head now.
And Havertz like 100 million or something like that.
I think it was 75, 80. Let's,
Oh, what do you say? But let's move on. Let's start with Liverpool.
Oh, yeah.
2 draws in a row you got Big Sam'd West Brom, and Newcastle game, which was last night at the time of recording. So you've had some time to cool down a little bit. Do you want to start with West Brom and talk us through what on earth happened there?
Well, Klopp in the past, he's been able to deal with Sarri ball. This season he dealt with Bielsa ball, but he cannot manage Brexit ball. Okay. West Brom going into it, well, actually, it's been 3 games since we last recorded, actually, funny enough. We won 7-0 at Crystal Palace, and that felt like a real kind of kickstart to our season, even though it never really went down. But after the Fulham draw, it felt a bit of a downer. But then bet Tottenham and bet Palace 7-0. So, I was optimistic going into the game. I won't lie. Should have been 3 or 4 up inside about 15, 20 minutes. Andy Robertson just pinging crosses into the box. Left, well, not left, right, and centre, just on the left, but you know what I mean. But what can I say? Did you see a kickoff when West Brom just had something like 9 players just like on the halfway line?
Yeah,
charging forward. That was a weird one, wasn't it? And he tricked Klopp. It looked like they were going to come out and play football. They did for about 10 minutes, and then they just resorted to everyone behind the ball, which is fair enough, But they created one chance the whole game organically, and it was just a long punt up the pitch. And John Matip went off injured, actually, didn't he? Yeah, he did. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So it was Reece Williams dealing with their striker's name. I can't remember. Grant or something like that. And
Colin Grant.
That's the one. And their goal comes from Curtis Jones. He's on the ball. He was getting dispossessed a bit in the game. He has this sort of I hate to use the word, but swagger on the ball that he always had, coming up through the youth ranks and stuff. If you ever see footage of him playing for the youth team, always pretty good. But I think he's a bit too overconfident on the ball, and he's just wayward pass. It's giving them a corner, and it's the spin the ball gets as it comes off the post and goes past Alisson. It wasn't great, was it? But yeah, Joel Matip injured, another defensive injury. Sam Allardyce back in football. You happy to have him back?
I think he creates something a little bit different because this is something for a completely different podcast. But one thing that I really do hate, and it's another football cliche for us, which we're getting super into here, and it's quote unquote, they didn't come to play football. And they did. They just played football in a very uncomfortable way. There was a thing last season when United and Liverpool drew, and Klopp went on this rant about how United played. We played very defensive, everything like that. And Jose Mourinho was the pundit for that game. And I'm sure you remember what Jose said. But and Klopp goes on his rant. They asked Jose about what Klopp said about United not coming here to play. And Jose went, he's the sort of manager that turns up to a game wanting meat, and he got fish today.
I don't remember that. No, I don't remember that quote.
Oh, he said that, and basically what he meant is that Klopp expects people to come at Liverpool.
Yeah,
but that's the way you lose to Liverpool. That is, you can't. You need a better team man for man if you're going to try and play high pressing, high energy football against this Liverpool, particularly last season's Liverpool side.
Yeah.
And West Brom, they did what they had to do, and they took their chance. West Brom, who are a side made up of Championship players,
at best.
Some of them at best, apart from Ivanovic back in his day. A lot of these guys, and Jake Livermore has played a lot of Premier League football, but the rest of them haven't. Kieran Gibbs obviously used to play for Arsenal, but
I think Sam Allardyce, he clearly knows how to play against Liverpool, doesn't he? I think that's something like 4 seasons in a row he's come to Anfield and got a draw.
Well, he's the last manager to beat,
and he is
at Anfield.
I know, in the Premier League, it was ages ago.
Yeah.
But I'm personally happy to see Sam Allardyce back. I kind of like him. Do you know what I mean? He kind of, there's a lot of teams who play kind of like this possession-based football. I'm thinking of Brighton, Bournemouth used to do it. Leeds, all this. There's something I kind of like and respect about a man who just puts everyone behind the ball and then just aerial bombardment from set pieces. You know what I mean? I kind of like that. And I think I think Sam Allardyce gets a bit of a tough time because he kind of looks a bit, thick, I guess, in more ways than one. But I actually think he's a kind of a good coach, and I kind of respect him in a way. Weird
he's
one.
a great coach, and he's had an incredible career
Yeah.
as well as a manager. And he was saying before about taking a job that he thought he was done in football, and he'd kind of given up, and then West Brom gave him a call. Like, I think he probably will keep West Brom up. I think it'll be by the skin of their teeth.
It depends how January goes. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and they're the difference maker. But Liverpool should have won the game. And let's get on to the next game. Last night's 0-0 draw at St James's Park, a game that you
Speaking.
100% should have won.
Yeah, again, it was, Newcastle came out the blocks. What can I say? They came out for the first 10, 15 minutes. They were just having a couple of chances. Callum Wilson had a kind of a pop shot from the corner flag, it seemed, and it troubled Alisson. But, I think there's been a bit of an overreaction. I think people are saying, oh, that was a rubbish. We were terrible. I don't think we were terrible. I think Carl Darlow makes 2 or 3 saves that are just ridiculous. I'm talking the one from Salah where he like gets, you talk about fingertips, tips of the fingertips, you know what I mean? And there was another one, it was a header from Firmino, and then there's another one that gets cleared off the line. And Newcastle didn't, I say they were creating loads of chances. They didn't really have a clear chance at goal. The closest they came was when Callum Wilson, God bless Nathaniel Phillips, just absolutely skins Nathaniel Phillips. But Fabinho gets back to get the block in or whatever. I think it was more a case of just being unlucky, really. And Steve Bruce becomes the first man to stop Liverpool scoring in a game this season, and he's the first man since we lost, lost to Man City at the Etihad. Can't remember the score. Game didn't matter. The league was over, Nathan. You know what I mean?
It didn't matter at all. You were all still monstrously hungover.
Oh, I wasn't even. Yeah, yeah.
It is that one. You were stupidly unlucky. You should have won. I was kind of laughing all the way to full time a little bit, which depends how tomorrow goes. Which by the time this goes up, we'll probably know the result.
Yeah. But I'd say just to wrap it up, actually, this is nearly a weekly segment at this point. Klopp subs.
That's exactly what I was about to bring up. Funny enough.
Brilliant. Good. I thought it was good to see Thiago back in the Newcastle. He just looks like a midfielder who can just pass the ball. It's a beautiful sight. Kind of like Van Dijk. When Van Dijk plays, he's very good at those long diagonal balls, just from the heart of the pitch. You know what I mean? And I think if we can keep Thiago fit, on for a good season. But the bit that annoyed me, Nathan, Xherdan Shaqiri coming on for about 2 minutes, deep into injury time as well. What's the point?
Yeah, this is it's kind of beyond parody. Originally, I would bring this up as kind of a way to just try and annoy you and other Liverpool fans with Klopp asking for 5 subs every single day, but he only ever uses 2. He also uses them very late. I was literally about to ask you, why did you sign Minamino? Minamino, who didn't play a second across these 2 matches, and is probably the other, you got Origi, and then you got him as kind of your forwards, but then Shaqiri pops out of nowhere to take, what has Minamino done to Klopp?
Well, I'm not going to go into their personal lives now, but no. But even in the West Brom game, we're 1-0 up for ages and ages and ages. The first sub he brings on is Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain with 10 minutes to go. Well, he was warming them up with about 10 minutes to go. The ball didn't go out of play for ages, and then they got the corner and they scored. And then he didn't make another sub until he was bringing on Divock Origi in the 91st minute. I don't know why, after Origi's game against Atalanta, where it just looked like he was so past it and so finished. It was ridiculous. Good to see Shaqiri back. I really like Shaqiri. I'm a big fan of Shaqiri, but I'd rather see Minamino on the pitch. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and we talk about this, we talk about the subs he made against Newcastle, Wijnaldum came on for Curtis Jones, Thiago, obviously, getting back, and he's just a phenomenal player. Probably one of the best midfielders in the world in 2020. Although he's had a bit of a
He
rough
was.
start at Liverpool.
He was in the team, Nathan.
He was in the team.
And
You're
that team
right.
was never wrong.
And then, yeah, Shaqiri in the 90th +2 is
Yeah.
according to this wrap up of when he came on. And what difference is he supposed to make? I know sometimes subs come on and then, like Lacazette for Arsenal against Brighton, he was only on the pitch for, I think, 22 seconds or something I saw.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
Shaqiri's not going to do that, is he?
Yeah, Shaqiri isn't a striker. He can't just like go into the middle of the pitch and just like score a goal. He needs time to influence the game coming in from the right or whatever. Thiago got, I think, was it 25 minutes or was it 15? It was something like that.
15.
15, and he had, and even that's a bit late to be bringing on a first sub, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, see, you've already said Matip went off. Who was it? Matip in the West Brom game when he went off?
Yep. Oh, it's hilarious. Can't stop laughing like yourself.
Yeah, sorry, I'm getting my subs the wrong way around. Yeah, he got on Wijnaldum in the 68th against Newcastle, and then Thiago in the 73rd.
Okay.
And then it does seem a little bit late when he wants to change the game.
Yeah.
No, Thiago, although he did immediately influence the game because of his range of passing, he's a very different player to James Milner.
Yeah.
Strange.
Yeah. Do you know one? I'll bring up one little fact I know you're going to enjoy. Mo Salah is only 21 goals away from being the highest scoring winger in Premier League history. He's only behind Ryan Giggs, and he has played 496 less games.
There you go.
Ryan
Giggs, an old school winger. You're not gonna. He was never gonna score a lot. Ryan Giggs.
Giggs will tear you apart or something.
He will. He will.
Well, Nathan, I'm thinking before we go into the Man United chat, will we break it up a bit? We'll go with my unique peak of the week.
Oh, let's do it.
It's the segment everyone's been waiting for. I've been waiting for it. I don't know about many other people, but we'll start off with the football. Kick it off with the football one. Bit Christmassy themed. 2 and 3 this week, so we'll get into it. Nathan, why do we have throw-ins in football? For a game that doesn't allow outfield players to use their hands, why are there throw-ins? And why aren't they like, the line-out passes, whatever you call them, in futsal?
Oh, I think that's a good question. I think it's one Hector Bellerin has been asking all season. Why? I don't know why. It does seem a little bit outdated. I feel like it's probably a little bit past its usefulness. I'm sure there was a logical reason to begin with, but I like throw-ins. I think you can't beat a bit of long throw-ins, a bit of Rory Delap.
That's it.
Chucking in the ball. I think everyone just loves to watch it. It's a very old school thing. I think kick-ins, they would just morph into free kicks.
Exactly. That is true.
Like you'd have to marshal them and be like, it has to be rolled along the floor and everything like that. And I don't want to see the ball go out of play and then we were just talking about it. So Thiago just send this scathing ball along to the other side of the pitch for Salah. Like I'd rather see like Ben White lob a ball into the area for Lewis Dunk or something like that.
The second one, my two least favorite people at Christmas, the people who put the celebration wrappers back in the tub. I'm sure you can agree with me on that.
Fuck those people.
Those are just the worst of the worst. And the people who put antlers and red noses on their cars. How boring must these people be in real life?
I'm glad you brought this up, to be honest, because I'm also someone that doesn't appreciate this.
I'm not a fan of it.
No, I'm not a fan of the antlers on the cars. I'm not even a fan of people getting the football flags out when it's like a World Cup or a Euros and putting them.
A bit weird, isn't it?
Don't like it. I think it makes you look silly.
And like, who was the first person who did it, and why did that catch on? Like, who went, "Oh, that's hilarious"? That is. I don't think anyone's ever said that.
No, they've not. Those people are silly. But the celebration wrappers, that is super nice. There's nothing worse than opening a tin, seeing the blinding light of these wrappers, and then realizing all that's left is the fucking bounty.
Moving on. Nathan, another question for you here. Does a Yorkshire pudding belong on a Christmas dinner?
For me, yes. And I
Ooh,
think there's going to be two answers here
yes and
for
no,
this.
probably.
Yeah. Bit more technical than that for me. I am a vegetarian,
Ooh,
so there's no meat on my plate. So a Yorkshire pudding is a great filling uh, thing to have. It's also just a wonderful thing. Like I know all parts of the UK and beyond have their own ideas of what is should be on a Christmas dinner or what should be on a roast dinner. I like Yorkshire puddings. It's
yeah,
nice and crispy, filled with a nice gravy,
yes.
cranberry sauce, beaut.
I mean, the way I look at it is the roast dinner is the king of dinners, and the Christmas dinner is the king of roast dinners. And I'd say Yorkshire pudding belongs in a roast dinner. But when it comes to Christmas, it's a bit of a, it's a bit of a mixed one. People are always go to and fro on it. Can
I
never
think
get a
it
definitive
changes
answer.
because for the people who eat meat, you end up with the pigs in blankets suddenly appear at Christmas time.
Yeah,
And you don't really have turkey very often. Some people do like two meats and things like that. And you've got the Brussels sprouts all appear, which are another contentious one. It depends. It really, I think it depends on where you are in kind of the world as to what the answer to that. 'Cause some Americans,
very true.
I was watching. This has nothing to do with football. Do you ever watch Hot Ones on YouTube?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, so it's this show where the guy whose name I can't remember now, but he's a wonderful presenter, and he gets people to eat chicken wings or whatever they want,
Oh
but
yes.
with hiring levels of hot sauce, or ascending is an actual word, ascending levels of hot sauce for each one. Then you ask him a question. And you had Paul Rudd on, and Paul Rudd was talking about he grew up in England, so he would be back in America, like in Central America, having Yorkshire puddings with his Sunday dinner, and no one else knowing what the fuck they were.
Yeah. It's class. I'm a huge fan of the Yorkshire pudding. Very underrated, in my opinion. And the final one, just something that went on in my life. I got my first haircut this since probably about February that wasn't done by a family member. I
Oh,
was wandering around town, and you see, I had the same hairdresser for about 6, 7 years, but she had to retire in the end. I won't go into the reason. And
did her ACL. She's never the same after that.
oh, poor Sandra. And I was wandering around town, and I noticed, why are all the barbers suddenly Turkish? I have no idea where this came from.
Well, if you go to a Turkish barber, that's the thing where they do like the hot towel and they light that bit of the thing on fire to like burn away your ear hair or something like that, don't they?
Are you sure this is a hairdresser now? You're not mixing this up with something else?
No,
A
this is
barber's, yeah.
yeah, the Turkish barbers where they do all that weird different stuff. So I feel like it's just a style of barbers.
I mean, the Turkish, I suppose, do have good hair. I think of
Yeah,
the
I think
first person that came to mind was Emre Can, who's actually German, but he's of Turkish descent.
yeah,
Always had a good head of hair and always had a decent beard on him. So,
must be
maybe
something
there's
about
something to it.
Arda Turan
He
when he
did, yeah.
when he wasn't running into nightclubs with guns. Had a nice bit of hair.
My second favorite pastime as well.
So I don't know. I feel like it must just be a national thing. And do you think so? Does that mean if you went to Turkey, it's just filled with English barbers?
You're all right,
Yeah, it's just full of cigarette smoke.
oh, the good old days. Well, Nathan, will we move on to your club, Manchester United?
Yeah,
Your
let's move
recent
on.
results.
Yeah, let's move on to United before I've got a question for you to come up after this.
Cool.
But United last time we recorded, I think we had just beaten Leeds 6-2, which was a fabulous result for us. Played very well, easily battered Bielsa Bull. And since then, 2-0 win over Everton in the EFL Cup. Surprising that was, because I did
Yes.
not think we would have such an easy time with that. Although we scored fairly late in the match,
Yeah.
they really didn't give them a look in. Good performance. So that made me very confident for the Leicester game.
Oh.
Went into 2-2 draw away at Leicester. On paper, not bad. But when you actually look at the match, when we went 2-1 up, I kind of thought that was it.
Yeah, as soon as he equalised, I thought it had a United win all over it.
Yeah, but then Jamie Vardy, you can't deny the quality of Jamie Vardy. Yeah.
I know.
And we just couldn't. So a 2-2 draw, which I'll take because then everyone else drew.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And then we get to the Wolves match. This was boring.
Oh, yep.
It wasn't a great game. Wolves were right up for it, it felt like, but we were just passing it around, looking a little bit lost for a while.
I was texting you throughout. I kept telling you, it's going to come. It's Manchester United. And I've actually got a theory that they have never not won a game in injury time.
I think you're right.
So do I.
Yeah, so, but at a clutch, there he is, the hero of the nation, Marcus Rashford, right there at the end to get us all 3 points. We are 3 points behind Liverpool right now with a game in hand. We play Villa tomorrow at time of recording. Villa, who battered you 7-2.
Okay,
so I'm confident and fearful.
We've actually got them coming up in the FA Cup as well. It's at Villa Park. I'm dreading it.
Didn't they knock you out the FA Cup last year as well? Is that the League Cup? It was the one where you were playing your under-12s.
Neil Critchley was the coach, yeah. He's at Blackpool now, actually. I think he still is.
See the manager?
Anyways, yeah, he was. We played for the pre-season. Yeah, big up, Neil.
Yeah, I hope you're doing well. I've got no idea how you're doing, but
big up yourself.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're playing very well. All the questions about why Donny van de Beek isn't playing have kind of gone away because we've been winning matches. He's still not playing. But,
only that.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what. I can only presume he's not training well because everyone's playing well. So, which is weird for United. Like Scott McTominay has just been on fire lately, although he got a little bit of a knock. Eric Bailly has suddenly been a revelation at centre half because Lindelof's gone down injured. Bailly's come back in. He's played 3 matches in a row for the first time since 2018.
Whoa.
So the guy gets injured a lot. So we're hoping to use him up before he gets injured again. But by that time, Lindelof should be back.
Oh, actually, Nathan, speaking of he's injured again, guess who's injured again?
It's Eric Bailly.
It's only Naby Keita.
No.
He's joking? Injured again. Yeah, no.
Oh
no, I wish it was.
God, what is wrong with that guy? What is he made of?
I don't know. We'll
He's made of rice paper, the poor guy. My goodness. But
I don't know what it is, but it doesn't sound strong.
No, it's not strong. It's paper made of rice.
There you go.
We're playing just really well at the minute. We got our next games. Obviously, we've got Villa. We then might have Man City in the League Cup. Who the fuck knows? And we then got Watford in the FA Cup. So and then it's the big one, and we're gonna plan something good for this because it is at Anfield, and it is Liverpool United coming up in 4 games time, the 17th of January.
I never look forward to this game.
4 hours after we play Burnley.
But what?
No, I don't know.
Wait a minute.
No, I think we got Burnley like a few days before, like the 14th or something in a minute.
Oh, please, just Bruno Fernandes, just pick up. We don't want any injuries, but if you can get a knock and miss the game.
But live United news. You just said Kite has got injured. I've got some live United news for you.
It's not goodbye, is it?
It took them about 7 years, but the FA have banned Cavani for 3 matches.
Oh wow!
For saying thank you to a friend. Apparently, you're not allowed friends.
Yeah.
He's also been fined
I can relate to that.
100 grand. And this is the kicker for me. Bear in mind, at time of recording, Manchester went into tier 4 of COVID restrictions yesterday, meaning everyone has to stay at home and everything. So the FA have said that Edison Cavani has to complete face-to-face education. Seems like it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Cowards.
A good point.
100 grand fine and 3 games. The thing is, thanks to a friend.
The thing is, a very similar thing happened about, must be over a year ago at this stage. Bernardo Silva and Benjamin Mendy. And didn't he only get like a 1-game ban?
Yeah, the FA don't know what the thing with the FA is they just react. They never try and like stop things from happening. They just wait for things to happen and then judge everything equally. Cavani apparently he wrote a letter to the FA saying that he wasn't going to contest their charge, and he apologized and explained again his position, which was that he didn't know what that translated to in England.
Yeah.
And that he was just saying thanks to a genuine friend.
Yeah.
And they went, well, give us 100 grand.
That's mental, isn't it? Like 100 grand is a lot of money. Like I know in football terms, when I think 100 grand for a millionaire footballer, it doesn't sound like a lot, but
But you know what I'm
100
going to say to
grand.
you now, Darragh?
Hit me with it.
I really think this Man City game needs to happen. Because if it doesn't, Cavani isn't playing against Liverpool.
Oh, are you serious? Oh, really? I mean,
your 4 games time.
Terrible. Oh,
So we need that Man City game to happen now. So Pep, you're under. Like I understand that. Isn't it under 11s in England? Don't need to wear a mask and don't need to worry about it. You've got an under 11 squad. Just get him out there. Just get him out there. I don't even care if you win. But we're not going to beat. I want to see Edison Cavani, Marcus Rashford, Bruno Fernandes, and Mason Greenwood running at Nathaniel Phillips.
Yeah. Oh, God bless Nathaniel Phillips
and Fabinho.
I see. I kind of like Nathaniel Phillips. I feel kind of bad because he's like our 5th choice centre back who is now basically being forced to start in just some of the biggest games of our season, which was just never meant to happen. Do you know what I mean? Even like I'd say, well, Fabinho now obviously, but even before Fabinho became, the best centre back in the league, even before that, I think Klopp would have started Fabinho at centre back before he started Nathaniel Phillips. So, I don't want to say anything too bad about him because I know he's probably not of the level of like Premier League champions. But, good luck to him. That's all I'm going to say. Because when you got that front line running at you, I'm scared.
I think that changes things for tomorrow against the Villa game because that presumably means that Anthony Martial is going to be playing through the middle with Rashford out wide, and you'd think Greenwood, unless he's going to go back to the tactic of playing James at the right. I know we've got that new kid coming. He's got his passport and everything now for the UK. That Amad Diallo or whatever, who everyone has high hopes for, and he's apparently going straight into the first team.
Class player.
So yeah, I've watched every one of his games, and but I'm confident for United's season. But Darragh, are you confident in your memory?
Well, it depends what that's on. If it's schoolwork, probably not. But if it's really irrelevant football trivia, I think I've got a shot.
It is. It's not irrelevant to you. What I'm about to do, ladies and gentlemen, it's a new little segment, a new little quiz where I'm just taking Liverpool lineups because we all know Darragh remembers almost everything in Liverpool's history. So I'm just going to read some lineups from games. I'm obviously going to give the date and what the game is and where it was played and what competition. But I'm going to miss out 2 players from the starting 11. All you need to do is tell me who they were.
Right.
Okay, so we're going all the way back to Wednesday, 22nd of October, 2014.
Okay, October 2014. Gotcha.
Yeah. Champions League Group B action at Anfield. Liverpool faced Real Madrid.
Oh, remember it well, yeah.
Under Brendan Rodgers. And here is the Liverpool lineup with 2 players missing.
God, okay.
Mignolet in goal. A back 4 of Johnson, Skirtle, Blank, and Moreno. So you're missing one of your centre halves there. Henderson, Gerrard, and someone else played in midfield. And your front 3 was Sterling, Balotelli, and Coutinho. So who partnered Skirtle at centre half and who joined Henderson and Gerrard in midfield?
Okay, I've actually got a couple of options for the midfield one. Okay, for the centre back, I'm thinking, it could be 3 actually. Now that I think about it, I'll give you the 3 that are in my head, and then I'll narrow it down. It's either going to be Torre, Lovren, or Sacco. And I'm trying to think. See, that was just after we'd signed Lovren. And I still think Rodgers would have been persistent with him at that point. So I'm going to go Dejan Lovren for centre back.
You're correct.
Okay. Now the midfield. See, we were terrible that game. We were 3-0 down at halftime, and my only memory of it was Coutinho hits a shot where he hits the post, but I can't remember if he's come off the bench in that game or not.
Well,
you know what?
Coutinho was in your front three. I've already said that. So Coutinho was on the pitch from the start. Yeah, your front three was Sterling, Balotelli, and Coutinho.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, that's okay. Well, that's put it down to 2 for me. So, thanks for clearing that up because I was about to say Coutinho.
I wouldn't do you like that, don't I?
Okay, so it's between for me. It's either gonna. Oh, it could be 3 actually. Okay, so it's between Joe Allen, Lucas Leiva, and Emre Can. Is it one of them 3?
It is one of those 3.
Okay, right.
One of them started, and one of those 3 came off the bench.
Oh, God, okay.
Well, and one of them didn't play.
Right. Okay, well, Gerrard was in his sort of DM role around that time, so I don't think he would have played Gerrard and Lucas. So I'm gonna say it's not Lucas who started. I don't think he would have started Joe Allen against Real Madrid. I'm gonna go with Emre Can.
So close. Lucas Leiva didn't play. Emre Can came off the bench in the 67th minute for Jordan Henderson, and Joe Allen played all 90 minutes.
Good Lord. Oh, that was before he grew the beard and actually became a good footballer. It's weird. He went from like babyface to just Frodo overnight. Did you ever see he did? He had like a sponsorship. You know how like most footballers have, like Nike, Adidas, something like that. He was sponsored by like some chicken thing. I swear to God.
I did see that.
Look up Joe Allen chicken. just tell me what comes up.
But yeah, Liverpool 0, Real Madrid 3, Cristiano Ronaldo in the 23rd, Benzema on the 30th and the 41st. Yeah. You look at the stats of that game, and it's not so bad on paper. I feel like it was worse in actuality because 12 shots for Liverpool to 14 for Real Madrid. Only 2 on target for Liverpool, though, whereas there's 7 on target for Madrid.
It was. Yeah, I'll just quickly, from what I remember, it was first half dominated by Real Madrid. Second half, we just parked the bus and just stuck with the 3-0. That's
the most famous part of this match is the match where Balotelli swapped shirts with Pepe at half time, and then Balotelli got subbed immediately at half time.
Odd.
And who would come on? You would think Balotelli, number 9, right?
Go on.
Yeah, he's playing as a striker. He's up there. So what other logical choice than to bring on Adam Lallana?
Oh, yeah,
So Sterling presumably went to the middle.
Yeah, Sterling was our striker that season.
Ricky Lambert was your number 9 in the squad. Making the pitch.
I remember, Nathan. You don't remind me.
Your bench is horrific.
There's always that famous thing that goes around, isn't it? It's like Barini, Balotelli, and Lambert, and it's like the stats. But they were our only 3 fit strikers that season. Raheem Sterling was our main striker, who was like a 20-year-old kid at the time. So that tells you all you need to know about us in 2014.
So you had Jones as your backup goalkeeper on the bench. I think Brad Jones. Brad is first name? Brad Jones. Colo Torre. Not bad, but probably a bit past at that point. Ricky Lambert. I could never say his name. Mankio. Sorry. Adam Lallana, Emre Can, and Lazar Markovic.
Oh, the £20 million man. Just imagine, yeah.
So, not the finest hour for Liverpool, but I thought I'd start it off on a high with this new segment. So I was going to go for the game at the Bernabeu where Gerrard didn't start.
Yeah,
I felt like you would have known that one.
I just remember the bench was really good for that game. That's the one thing I remember.
They decided to rest him for some reason.
Yeah.
Other than that, I was just looking at the results that also happened that night in the Champions League. There's nothing interesting, though, apart from Olympiacos beat Juventus.
That's a very weird one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a random one. I feel like there's a Juventus fan who's furious at me right now. Darragh, we've had a question.
Oh,
We've had a question from our Lord and Savior, Dits, who
our biggest fan.
Yeah, our biggest fan. He wants to know who we think will win the Premier League and what all the European spots will be. So I'm presuming that's 1 to 6th.
Oh, 1 to 6. Okay.
Yeah, because that's all the Europe. I know we get another Europa League spot, but it goes to like whoever brings the best cakes to the end of season party or something like that. But so yeah, 1 to 6th. I'm just throwing it at you randomly. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Will we both say? So we'll go number 1. We'll say who we think it'll be, and we'll try and give like a quick. So I'm just gonna straight away Liverpool.
I'm gonna agree.
Yeah. Okay. Cheers.
I think you will be more consistent than we will be.
I think it depends on injuries. That's what I think it all falls on. Because if Thiago stays fit and Van Dijk's back in training, not back in training, I keep saying that, he's back in the gym, back in rehab.
He was cycling the other day, I saw on Instagram.
I know, which is ridiculous because he was taken out of the Premier League team for the season. But I'm pretty sure that gets like re-updated in January for if you make transfers. So if Van Dijk comes back, say end of March, early April, and we have like a bit of a push towards the end, keep Thiago fit. Keita's pretty much a write-off, but if we can just get like some consistency at centre back as well, I think that'll definitely help us going forward.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I just think with United's title challenge, we need to have quite a big January because I still think whereas Liverpool have kind of a more consistent squad, we have a great starting 11 and kind of 2 or 3 good subs who we can bring on.
Yeah, I know you could say this about any
the rest
team.
Of the squad is kind of quite like weak in places, either in experience. So I think it depends how this kid who's coming in gets on. Because apparently he's going straight into the first team, and then apparently we're going to have. So the rumor mill is we're going to look to be fairly busy in this January. Whether that's selling players like I say selling, giving away players like it's food bank, Phil Jones and Marcus Rojo, and something like that. But supposedly there's some money there for Ollie to kind of push on. So who knows? This Anfield game is kind of telling of is this United title challenge an actual challenge, or are we just the most consistent of the rest?
That's a very good point. Yeah. Are you going to say Manchester United to finish second?
I am. I'm going to back us. I think this run seems quite strange. Like it's kind of coming a little bit out of nowhere. It's obviously a massive part of that is Bruno Fernandes, who is probably genuinely one of the best midfielders in the world right now.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, his goal involvement is, I think it's like 32 in 29 games.
It's something like 1.1, 1.2 since he's joined the club. Mental.
Would you like to know a little random fact about Bruno Fernandes, and which also tells you how long fans haven't been at games for?
Go ahead, why not?
He has only played in front of fans at Old Trafford 4 times since he joined.
That's very weird, isn't it?
That's how long it's been.
Yeah,
because he joined us, I think, in one of the last days of the January window.
It's after you played us, I remember.
Yeah, and it's been going on for a while now. But yeah, I'm going to go United second. What about you? I'm
going to, and not just because it's United. I'm still going to say Man City because I just think I can't see a world in which Pep doesn't turn it around, if that makes sense. They've only lost, I think, 2 games all season. And if he starts turning those draws into wins, I think the squad is just, I think I pretty much every week I come on and slate the squad for not being good enough. But I still think they're good enough to come second. I think what will hold United back is they're in the semi-finals of the EFL Cup. They have the Europa League to contend with, which you could say they might just, play the kids in. But I think Ollie will take it a bit seriously. They've got the FA Cup to come. If United were to, I don't know, somehow get knocked out of like all those competitions very early on, then I'd say you're a shoo-in for second. But I think the fixture congestion is going to pile up on you.
Yeah, well, we talk about Man City and people say how far behind they are, and it is kind of when you don't look at anything other than the squad the team next to the league position, you say eighth, Man City. They've played 14 games. If let's say they win both of those, that puts them on 32 points, one behind Liverpool, and that'll put them. Let's say United, we win tomorrow at time of recording. That'll put them one behind us as well. So, like, they're not actually far away. They've only conceded 12 goals, which is comfortably less. There's only a few teams that have conceded less than 20. Like Aston Villa have only conceded 14 goals as well, which is mad. Yeah. So City aren't as far away. They just haven't played, I think, is really what's happened at the minute. Although they are incredibly lethargic at the minute. They're not very awake.
Yeah. Well, then obviously, after City second, I'm putting United third. Based on what I've already given you my argument for that, yeah.
Yeah,
you go for City.
Yeah, I'm going to go for City in third. We're better.
Manchester is red. You heard it here.
Now this is the fun one. It's fourth. So, I'm clutching at straws a little bit here. I'm either thinking of going for a risky fourth or trying to just play it safe by going for one of the bigger clubs. But
Arsenal.
No, I'm not playing Arsenal. I'm gonna, because of who's in charge and who they've got up front, I'm going Spurs.
Yeah, Spurs would have been my choice as well. Again, you can say this with any team, but if they can keep, Kane and Son fit, the goals they've got this season, I can't see how they couldn't finish in the top four. Do you know what I mean? Jose Mourinho as well. I think. Let
me make a prediction. Final day of the season. Hopefully, fingers crossed, everyone will be playing on the final day of the season. It's not going to be a mismatch because there's so many games left to play. Chelsea are fourth. They need to win. They draw, and Spurs then leapfrog Chelsea. Chelsea finish fifth.
I'm more than happy with that. Chelsea are just a team who are just growing up, just seem to win everything and always beat us. So, yeah, I'm a bit bitter.
Yeah, but I'm also going to put Chelsea fifth.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think Aston Villa are a very good team, but I think it could be form as opposed to class. You know what I mean? And I don't
think they have the squad. When you go past Watkins, who I absolutely love, I think Ollie Watkins is a fabulous Premier League striker, and he's come in and he's shown his class completely. Like Grealish is obviously wonderful. Ross Barkley's looking good. Josh McGinn is good. Matty Cash at right back has been a bit of a revelation for them as well. But past those lot, if they get injuries, I know we keep saying that, then they're looking back to the squad that they had last season.
Yeah, I know. And again, I say this, even though I'm pretty sure if Everton win their game in hand, I think they've won more games than Liverpool this season, which again is just a mental thing to think about. But, very similar to what Alex Ferguson used to always say, lads, it's Everton. As opposed to lads, it's Tottenham. Do you know what I mean? They've had so many false dawns in the past, haven't they? They got this billionaire owner. What have they done with it? They've spent 30 million on Yannick Bolasie. Where is he now? Do you know what I mean?
That was actually a serious question. If anyone knows where Yannick Bolasie is, please tweet.
I've had Project the posters out.
Yeah. I'm actually going to put Everton sixth though, because they do have a great squad. Although a lot of their best players are injured in a minute, and they've still been winning, which usually an Everton side wouldn't do. And I think that comes down to who they've got managing and coaching them in Ancelotti, who is a winner. And although I was incredibly surprised at how easily we pushed them around in the League Cup, I think their win over Sheffield United kind of showed they do have some grit and they do have a little bit of depth as well, which they didn't really look like they've got. But Decore, I think, is proving to be the most vital player they've got in that squad. Like Allen hasn't really been fit. James Rodriguez is wonderful, but hasn't really been fit. Decore and Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
That's been class, yeah. Richarlison, obviously a big player for them as well. I think Carlo Ancelotti at Everton, if he can't do it at Everton, then I don't think anyone is ever going to do it at Everton. So I think in a way you're right with Chelsea 5th, Everton 6th. But I think with Villa's players, if they can keep this form up, I'm going to go Chelsea 5th, Aston Villa 6th, Everton 7th.
I think it depends what happens tomorrow because Villa have played so well and they don't concede a lot of goals. But we've been scoring a lot of goals lately as well. I know we're behind you in the goals scored. We're 6 behind you, but otherwise we're joint second with Chelsea on goals scored. So it's going to come down to them just keeping. Villa just need to keep on the roll, kind of like how Leicester did when they won the title. Just don't look back. Just keep going forwards.
I heard you say, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Villa got 6th, but I think Everton, they just have a little bit more in that squad.
Oh, definitely, yeah. With Carlo Ancelotti as well, that's definitely a big plus for them.
So there you go. Question asked and answered. And if you have any questions, or if you know where Yannick Bolasie is, as I said again, it's at Project Dits. Come over to our Discord. That's where we got asked that question. If you do use Discord, it's very easy to use. It's free to use, and there's loads of listeners. And you're not in there, but I'm in there. You can chat to me. I might reply, might not.
I'll be honest, I don't even know what Discord is. I need to get on top of that.
Some of that technology, innit?
I'm getting old. I'm in my 20s now.
Well, let's ride off into the sunset in a second. We got some answers. You asked us some silly questions.
They were genius. This feature has got legs. So I'll run through these very quickly. Very, very quickly. So the first one, remember Liverpool edition. That Beale fell off EastEnders. Sure as fast. Initials I-or. Nathan, any ideas?
Just got no idea, to be honest with you. Is it Shaqiri?
Initials I-or, so no, it's definitely not. It's Ian Rush. That Beale fell off EastEnders. That's Ian Beale. Sure as fast. Rush. Okay. Number 2. Nick the end of that woman's foot. I'm not a fan of that. Or F. Any clue?
Is it Robbie Fowler?
No, it's not. I think I know where you're getting at with Robbie, as in Nick the end of that woman's foot. Just imagine that as a sentence out of context, actually, what I've just said. It's Roberto Firmino. So Nick the end of that woman's foot. Rob her toe. I'm not a fan of that. For me, no.
Oh, I now understand what you're on about.
There we go.
I didn't even really get it, but here we go.
The last one, this is genius. That Cole fella who was an attacking midfielder for Chelsea in the mid to late 2000s, that obviously being Joe Cole, Joe, this Sunday he must be at church. Joe, go to mass. Joe Gomez.
God's sake.
Those are just some of the, award-winning segments I'm coming up with. When I say award-winning, I mean purely in the future. Nothing yet.
All the awards.
We will. I'll check those complaints in my Discord afterwards. But Nathan, well, I'll wrap it up with your homework for the week.
Okay, let's hear it. I'm ready for this one.
Trivia question for this week. Only 3 players in English Football League history have been part of back-to-back league-winning title squads with different clubs. First one is Eric Cantona with Leeds, 91-92, and then Man United, 92-93. Second, N'Golo Kante with Leicester, 2015-16, and Chelsea, 16-17. Who is the third?
Oh, I think I know, but I'm not going to say anything. But I'm going to leave that for everyone else. So,
this is a hard one.
yeah, that's a good one. That's a very good one.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for listening, guys. Let us know if you know the answer to that. If you want to have some guesses, come over to Discord. As you say, just go to @ProjectDits. It's DITS. On Twitter, you can find me at Nathan Greenaway if you want to speak to me as well. If you want to listen to me talking about other things other than football, movies, TVs, or we did our 2020 award ceremony over at Rogue Opinions. That should be up at the same time as this. It's at Rogue_Opinion on Twitter. But Darragh, where can people find you? Have you got anything going on?
Nothing going on. Lockdown, Nathan. You should know that. But obviously, if you want to find me, Twitter, Gibbons_Darragh. And I'd just like to say from me, and I imagine everyone at Project Dits, Happy New Year to everyone.
Yeah,
2021. Leaving 2020 behind where it belongs.
Oh, well, thank you guys. Enjoy the football coming up, and we'll be back to talk about it next week. Bye now.
Good luck.